Hello my loves, my name is Mina. Welcome to my channel Mina Reads, and today we are starting a new reading vlog. So I, like many others, have been sucked into the TikTok vortex, and I'm super obsessed with TikTok. I'm on TikTok way too many hours of the day, and particularly I am kind of on booktok a little bit, and I've been noticing a trend recently in a lot of the booktok girlies that I am obsessed with. They have become quite obsessed with dark romances, and I feel like dark romances are absolutely flooding my TikTok feed. So in this video, I'm going to be trying out some of the dark romances that have been circulating on TikTok that have really piqued my interest. So we're going to be trying out the Necessary Evil series by Ana Luisa, and we're going to be exploring some of Sophie Lark's backlist, and I'm really excited about this. So let's get into the video, but before we do, I do just want to thank today's sponsor, Ana Luisa. Ana Luisa is a New York-based sustainable jewelry company, and I am absolutely obsessed with them. I've been working with them for over a year at this point, and I just absolutely am in love with them. I'm in love with their mission statement, and their jewelry is just so beautiful. So Ana Luisa, as I said, is a New York-based and sustainable jewelry company. They are currently offsetting 100% of their carbon emissions, starting with the way that they source their materials and like their production practices. It's just iconic to me that they are so sustainably minded. I love the fact that they work in limited batches to ensure quality control, but also to limit excess waste. They have exceptional quality. Their pieces are all made from the best noble metals. And they have incredibly fair pricing, starting at $39 and working their way up with some more higher end pieces. But I absolutely am so obsessed with them. So I'm going to show you guys what I got from them. So the necklace that I'm currently wearing is actually a necklace that I got a while ago, but this is called the Temple Green necklace. But my more recent pieces include these earrings. These are the Scarlet mini hoops, and I love them. They're so cute and adorable. I usually wear like much bigger hoops, so these are nice, and I think they look cute and like elegant and stuff. I also got this beautiful bracelet, as well as these beautiful Dobby earrings. I'm so obsessed with these, and these are going to match a previous necklace that I got, and they're going to be like a beautiful set, so I'm really excited about that. So I'm obsessed with Ana Luisa. I think that they have incredible quality. It's just so perfect for me. I really love beautiful, kind of simple but elegant jewelry, and I think that it just works for me. I also think that their jewelry, like, it works perfectly together. They all coordinate quite well together. So I think that if you're someone who enjoys like necklaces, particularly like chains and chain sets and things like that, you should definitely check them out. They have a lot of different beautiful earring styles that you can choose from like statement pieces to more simplistic hoops or studs. I just am absolutely obsessed with them, and I would highly recommend checking them out. You can check out the link in my description if you want to, you know, browse their store. They currently have a up to 25% off sale going on their website for the holiday season. You could get a treat for yourself or a gift for a loved one, and yeah, just check them out. Link will be in my description, and thank you so much to them for sponsoring this video. Let's get into these books. Okay, so completely by accident, I have just read Unhinged in one sitting, and now I need to talk about it. So in Unhinged, we're following these two characters named Noah and Adam, and this story, the setup is that there's this psychologist named Thomas, and he's like a billionaire, and he has decided to conduct this like massive experiment using psychopaths. So he adopts a bunch of children that have like psychopathic traits, and then he raises them to be like vigilantes essentially. So Adam is one such adoptee slash serial killing vigilante, and he has murdered Noah's father, and Noah has been trying to track him down for years, and he's finally found him. And so the story starts out with a confrontation between them in like a seedy part of town, and Noah is planning to murder Adam, and they start having a conversation. And basically Noah finds out that his father was like a really egregiously bad person, like absolutely horrible, despicable, like all of the bad words that you could think of. Like he was so disgusting and gross. So Noah is like, okay, you know, I won't get my revenge then if he was a shit person, like it doesn't matter. But upon meeting him, Adam has now become completely obsessed with Noah, and he just has to have him, and he's like, you're mine, like you're my person, and he imprints on him. It's like very Twilight. There's even like a reference to Twilight in the book, which I thought was funny as fuck, but he kind of just like imprints on him, like there's no real explanation for it, but he's just like becomes obsessed with him. And so the rest of the story is like Adam being obsessed with Noah, and Noah, now that he has found out that his father's like a terrible person, trying to track down his father's partner in crime, So his father's like a child predator regarding this, so he is trying to like track down the other people that he knew his father was like involved with in relation to this like child predation. And this story, it goes between being like this really dark and uncomfortable like investigation into these really heinous crimes that Noah's father was committing, and also being like this really goofy, sexy romance between Noah and Adam. And I don't know how to describe how this book made me feel, other than that it was the most compulsively readable thing I have read maybe all year. Like, it just was so strange, and I feel like Adam and the way he kind of latches on to Noah, like he's his favorite toy almost, and he's just like, just obsessed with him. Like, there's no other way to describe it. And he just decides to like, him and Noah are going to be together forever, and that's just it, period. And Noah is a very fucked up individual, so he's like, you know what, I'm gonna go along with it. And so him and Noah, you know, they're embarking on this relationship, and their relationship dynamic is so fucking funny. Like, Adam is hilarious. I feel like their conversations are really funny, and it doesn't sound like the kind of book that would be funny. Like, obviously it requires a lot of suspension of disbelief, but like it just doesn't sound like it's something that should be funny, but it's fucking hilarious. And I feel like that's where one of my main critiques of the book is going to come in, because despite how much I love Adam and Noah's relationship, how weird and fucked up it is, and how enjoyable, I don't care, I love them. They were super cool and interesting to me, and I like their relationship, and I like the idea of like this psychopath in love thing that was going on, because it was very interesting how Adam is like studying Noah almost. Like, I don't know, he just finds Noah to be like this curiosity almost, and he just is obsessed with like understanding him and like folding back all his layers. And I don't know, that was like an interesting dynamic. So I was obsessed with them. They were super fucking cool. But what I didn't love about the book is like these separate child predator storyline that's going on. They're trying to hunt down this like child predator ring, and I feel like the scenes where that happens are like interspliced by scenes of Noah and Adam like having sex, and it just, after a while, it started to feel weird, because like Noah is uncovering all of this past like childhood trauma, or recovering all of these memories of like his past childhood trauma. And so there will be a scene of Noah like remembering something absolutely heinous that has happened to him, and then the very next scene would be him and Adam having sex. And it just like, I don't know, the back and forth was just kind of like, it was weird. Like, I don't know, it was just something about it that the tone was a little off. But I think that if you're somebody who wants to read a story with like a kind of fucked up concept, if you like sort of dark anything, maybe you should check this out. Like, I think that it would be enjoyable if you are someone who likes dark romances, or you like, you know, serial killer, psychopath in love, that kind of thing. Like, I feel like you'd probably enjoy this. I really, really love the relationship. I love the romance in this. Very insta love, but who gives a shit? It was good. I enjoyed it a lot. But the only thing, like I said, is that I feel like there was something a little bit off balance about how the story was trying to be like this sexy romance, and also talking about a lot of this really traumatic shit, and like it didn't flow right together. But it was still good. It was still good. It was really interesting. There were a lot of layers, and now I'm absolutely 100% obsessed with the series, and I'm already like 80% into the next book in the series, which is called Psycho. And Psycho is everything. It's fucking everything. Okay, so Psycho, which is the second book in the Necessary Evil series, follows another one of the people who was adopted by that psychologist Thomas, raised to be like, you know, and he's raised to be like this serial killing vigilante, but by day he has like a whole different job. So in Unhinged, Adam's day job is he's like a supermodel or something, and in this, the day job of the main character, his name is August. So August is like a super genius. He's like Stephen Hawking level genius, and he is a professor at a university, and he's just incredibly intelligent. He has like 1 million degrees, and so he just kind of has this like nerdy professor persona but obviously at night he's like running around like a vigilante Batman-esque type of person. And then this book is about him meeting this new professor on campus named Lucas and immediately falling in love with him and like being obsessed with him. And he's like, he's mine, I have to have him, we're gonna get married and like we're gonna be together forever. So he just has all these really intense emotions about Lucas, and he's like, yeah, I have to have him, he's gonna be mine, I'm obsessed with him. So they like end up bumping into each other, and Lucas is a psychic, I think. So him and August, they touch when they bump into each other, and Lucas is able to see like all of the kills that August has done, so he knows immediately that August is a serial killer. And now that somebody like knows his secret, so not only is like August obsessed with Lucas, but Lucas also already knows his secret, so he's like, I don't have to hide anything about myself from you, it's just perfect, we just need to be together forever. So the book is about him like wooing Lucas, and he reads like all of these not romance books, but he reads all of these books about relationships, like non-fiction books, and he's like trying to figure out what Lucas's love language is, and it's just so like ridiculous and funny, and I love the way that they interact with each other so much, and I love August a lot, and he just is so perfect. And like the duality of him, he has like so many different sides of his personality. He has like this whole nerdy professor thing going on, but then he's also like really scary, but then like he's super sweet and emotionally intelligent, ironically, considering that since he's a psychopath he's supposed to not have emotions. It's just so fucking interesting. Like it just This series has absolutely warped my brain, because there is a scene where August is quite literally torturing a man, and Lucas comes up and gives him a pair of headphones, and he says, I found them like across the room, but I just wanted to bring them to you because I know that the screaming gives you a headache. And then August is like, oh my god, that's so sweet, like, and then August is like kisses him, and it's like, oh, this is like this huge romantic gesture thing. And like this book has really warped my brain, because I was like, that is so thoughtful. Like, not me saying it's thoughtful, and they're literally sitting here like torturing somebody. Okay, so there is in this book as well like a side plot where they are investigating some heinous crimes. So Lucas, he, as a psychic, he used to be an FBI profiler, and he used his psychic powers to like have this really high solve rate or whatever. And basically he ends up finding out that one of his coworkers is a serial killer, like in disguise on the force. He tries to like report the man, but everybody's like, yeah, you know that he's a serial killer because you touched him and you had visions, you must be crazy. So they locked him up, and there's like this whole thing. But Lucas obviously is out of the mental institution, and he got a new job as a professor, and he's kind of just trying to lay low. But the guy who he found out was a serial killer is like stalking him, and so they're trying to figure out how they can like catch this man who's a serial killer on the FBI agency, in the FBI agency. Words are hard. So yeah, it's like there's a lot going on, a lot of things are happening, but I love Psycho so fucking much because it reminds me, like, I guess the whole series kind of reminds me of Dexter in a way, but this one in particular, it feels very much like Dexter and his relationship with Rita. And I fucking love Dexter and Rita's relationship. Like, I can't describe it, but it just was like, I loved it. So this really reminds me of Dexter and Rita's relationship. And then it also kind of reminds me of Criminal Minds, I guess, because Lucas is like an FBI agent and he used to be like a profiler and stuff. And I kind of imagine him looking like Spencer Reed. I feel like they describe his looks differently, but like I imagine that he looks like Dr. Reed, and you can't stop me. And words, I don't know, it's a fun time, it's a good time, I'm enjoying it, and I'm almost done. So once I finish this, I will muster up the willpower and the self-restraint to not immediately go into the third book.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
I literally cannot stop thinking about the Necessary Evil series. Like, Honestly, James has me in a fucking chokehold. Like, I'm so obsessed, and I just can't stop thinking about it. And it's just like I just love that damn series. I really do. I really do. I made a whole playlist. I'll leave a link in the description below if you care. But I made a whole Spotify playlist, and I just keep fucking thinking about it. So anyways, I decided that I want to describe each of the books in like the That Feeling When meme. And so just gonna describe them in one sentence. So, that feeling when you meet your soulmate, except he's the person who killed your dad. That feeling when you meet your soulmate, except he's a professor at the university you teach at, and he's a serial killer. That feeling when you meet your soulmate and you both are sent to kill the same guy at the same time at some random cabin in the woods. And then you hook up next to his dead body. So it's final season and I have lots of papers that I should be writing, but instead of doing that, I have been binging the Necessary Evil series. So I've just completed all of the books that are currently out. So I've read Unhinged, I've finished Psycho, and then I started and finished Moonstruck, the third one, last night / today. And I fucking love this series, you guys. I love this series so much. And like, even though there are issues that I have with it, or like ways that I think it could be better, because it's kind of like cheesy and the dialogue is a little and like some of the aspects of each book are kind of repetitive in terms of the way the plot is structured and stuff, but like literally who gives a shit? Like, it's about serial killers who are in love, and it's so fucking interesting. Like, it just I don't know what it is, but it just works. It just works. Like, I can't explain it. I can't describe it without sounding unhinged myself, but it's just like, the experience is just so good. Listen, I feel like if you are somebody who enjoyed Dexter or you enjoyed Umbrella Academy and you ever thought that maybe it would be interesting if the two were combined, that's this series. So I feel like it's just so interesting and I fucking love it so much. So to wrap up my thoughts on Psycho, I finished Psycho and my final thoughts would be that I really enjoy Lucas and August. I think that they're like a cool couple. Mostly I like August. I will say that I found Lucas to be a little bit boring, so I didn't love that couple like quite as much as I loved Noah and Adam, or anywhere near as much as I love Jericho and Atticus, who are from the third book. So I feel like, you know, like August and Lucas are not my favorite couple, but their book was still cool, and that book actually gave me kind of like a Criminal Minds vibe, and I enjoyed it. Like, it was a fun time. And August is just so cute. He has my heart. I love him. He's so sweet. The sweetest serial killer I've ever seen. And like, I just love the fact that as soon as he meets Lucas, he's like, I just want to be with you and like settle down and get married and like have children. Like, I love it. I love it. So the third book, Moonstruck, is about the oldest brother, Atticus. And so Atticus is kind of, I want to say that he's kind of the pariah of the family. Like, the other brothers don't like him. They kind of think that he's just like too serious, and he's just boring and annoying, and he's also not that great at killing people because, you know, like, they all have assignments. Their dad, he gives them assignments of like, oh, go kill this particular criminal. So they all have assignments. They all have to do that as like their side job. And Atticus is just like really bad at it, and he always has to call his brothers to help him like with his murders or like cleaning up the bodies and all that kind of stuff. So his brothers kind of look down on him, and they don't like love him that much, and he's actually kind of like insecure about that. And so basically this story starts out where, so Atticus has been tasked with killing like some guy. So he goes to this location in the woods where he's supposed to be able to find this guy caught unawares, and he's like gonna kill him. And he gets there and somebody else is already torturing him, and that somebody else is this guy named Jericho. And Jericho is this guy from like a rougher part of town, and basically he calls himself like the neighborhood watch. And so he like basically protects people, like vulnerable communities. So like, you know, sometimes when like people who are undocumented or stuff like that, like they're being taken advantage of, he goes out and he like kills people who are taking advantage of vulnerable groups in like his lower class community. And it was really interesting. So they end up like meeting while they're supposed to be killing this one guy, and sparks fly while they torture this man, and then they get together. And I don't know how to describe the feelings that I had about it, but like Jericho, I'm so fucking obsessed with him. And then Atticus was so interesting. I feel like he was the most interesting brother that Ana James has written in the series so far. I just feel like he had so many layers, and I just liked him. He was just so soft and like insecure in a interesting way, and it was just fascinating. And like he would have these conversations with Jericho about like how he doesn't like killing people, even though that's like his family business. Like it makes him uncomfortable and he doesn't like it, and if he feels like it like separates him from the rest of his family, and like they don't respect him as much because he doesn't like killing people. And it was just, I don't know, it was weird. It was interesting. I liked it. And there were these scenes, there were like multiple scenes that happened where like they would do the cutest, most husbandy, domestic shit like in the middle of torturing some horrible person. And it just was like, it just, I can't even, I don't even have the words. It just like, it's so engaging, it's so entertaining, and the couples are so cute, even though it's insta love and insta obsession and whatever the fuck, and they're crazy. Like, who cares? The books slap. The books slap. I enjoyed it. It was really good. It was a fun time binging this series, and I can't wait for the 4th book, Head Case, to come out, but it doesn't come out until February, so I hate that for me. So I have been working on my papers all day, and I finished Moonstruck like earlier today. So now that I finished that series and I want to take a slight break from all my finals bullshit, I am going to start Brutal Prince, and I'm listening to the audiobook, and so like, yeah, we'll get into that. Alright, so I am 12% into the Brutal Prince, and already I don't think I like it. It is very early days, so I'm gonna keep going and see how I feel, but right now it is not giving. Ida, she seemed dumb as hell. The guy, he seems boring as fuck, and it's just okay, besties. So I have some good news and I have some bad news. So I'm gonna give you the bad news first. I am DNFing the Brutal Prince at like 15-17% because I absolutely cannot deal with these flavorless ass criminals. The plot of this is that the main girl, Ida, she is from like the Irish, no, she's from the, what is it? She's from the Italian mafia, and then the guy, Callum, he's from the Irish mafia, and their families don't like each other. Ida and her brothers decide to sneak into the Griffins, which is the Irish mafia's like, one of their daughters is having a birthday party. They decide to sneak into the birthday party, and at said birthday party, Ida, the main character, or Ida, the female love interest, she accidentally sets their library on fire, and Callum sees her, and he immediately is, you know, obviously upset about this because she literally set his property on fire after sneaking into his house. So pretty reasonably upset, I'd say. And so the story, you know, is starting out from there, and because of this, Callum, like, he wants revenge. He's really angry about this, and so the tensions between their families are at an all-time high. Their families decide that they are going to marry Ida and Callum together so they can like join their houses and like avoid a gang war or whatever. And I just cannot with this. I can't do it. So Ida, the female love interest, already she does not have my respect at all because I think she's a fucking dummy. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me that you would know that these are like your family's mortal enemies. Not only would you sneak into their party, which is like whatever, but like you would set their shit on fire. Like, are you kidding? And the way she set it on fire was just so fucking stupid. Like, you're an idiot. And as much as I support women's rights, I also support women's wrongs. So if she had came in there and she explicitly knew that like she came in there and she wanted to fuck shit up and like she wanted to do property damage, she wanted to steal stuff, like, then I might have supported her and I would have been like, oh my god, like, what a girl boss. But instead, she just just accidentally doing dumb shit, and I can't deal. I can't do it. And then Callum, the male love interest, he is such a square. He's so fucking boring. His point of view is just like, no. There's this one scene where he's like trying to intimidate Ida's brothers, and they're having like this back and forth, and the conversation that they're having is just so like, what? Speaking of the threats that they give each other, in the scene that I'm talking about, Ida's brother Sebastian and Callum are like arguing with each other, and Sebastian is like, you know, I have brothers too, and they'll come here and they'll rip your lily white skin off. And it took me a second. I was like, aren't y'all both white? And like the threats that they're giving each other, it just like, no. No, no, no. The flavor is not there whatsoever. The characters are already getting on my nerves, and I don't want to waste any more time on it. It just, no. If it was me, if I was the person writing it, I either would have made Ida set the library on fire purposefully, because then that would have made her character more interesting, in my opinion. Or I would have instead skipped this whole beginning sequence involving the party and blah 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 as a backstory for like why Callum and Ida have all this like personal tension, and I would have just made it like a vague Montague and Capulet kind of blood feud, and they're just getting married at the very beginning of the book. Instead of all this bullshit in the beginning, we could have just skipped it and went straight to the arranged marriage part. But alas. So that's the bad news. That's done. It's over. I'm retiring that. But the good news is that I decided to give Miss Sophie Lark another chance, because I feel like it'd be fucked up of me to completely write an author off based on 15% of a book that I did not finish. So I decided to give her another chance, and I'm reading There Are No Saints, and this one is much more up my alley. So this one is about a serial killer slash artist named Cole. So he's a really successful artist, and he is in like this rivalry with another artist slash serial killer named Shaw. And so basically they try to one up each other in like different art competitions, and also with like their kills and stuff. They're like in this competition, they hate each other. One day they're at this art exhibition and they both see this girl, and Cole is kind of intrigued by her, and Shaw, wanting to get back at Cole and like, you know, in the spirit of their rivalry, Shaw basically begins to target the girl. Her name is Mara. He begins to target her, and like he wants to kill her, I guess, before Cole gets the chance to kill her or be with her, whatever the case may be. So they have this whole unhinged thing going on. And then our main female character, Mara, she is like a very much a starving artist, and this is about her and like her hustle and trying to get like studio space and all this kind of stuff. And already immediately I really like Mara. She seems like such a hardworking person, and I like her. I just feel like, I don't know, something about her narration is just very compelling, and I'm really into it. And then the whole serial killer competition thing that's going on between Cole and Shaw is very intriguing to me, and it's just like much better. I'm already 15% into this one, and I'm loving it. Like, I'm really engaged. I'm having a good time. So where I'm at right now, Mara has just gotten kidnapped, and I don't know if she's been kidnapped by Cole or if she's been kidnapped by Shaw, but I'm very intrigued to see where it's going next. So okay, so I am 50% into There Are No Saints, and I'm going to be honest with you, besties, and say that I'm kind of obsessed with this. So Sophie Lark has definitely won me over. I feel like I really did not like her writing style in Brutal Prince. Like, I don't know what it was about it, but it just was like, I just hated it. But in this, I feel like her writing is like really good, and I'm liking it. There are lots of quotes that I'm highlighting and stuff. Like, I feel like it's just like much more effective writing, in my opinion. And I really love the main character of Mara. She's so cool and strong, and I just really like her. And then Cole, he is so creepy. Like, he's really like Joe from You. But if Joe's victims like knew that he was creepy the whole time, like, that's how it is. And he just honestly, he kind of needs to go to jail. Like, go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200. Jail. He is like, because he's stalking her. Like, he bought this house that's like across from her apartment so that he can like watch her through a telescope. Like, you don't have nothing better to do. Like, he's supposed to be this like billionaire artist person. Like, you don't have nothing better to do, for real. And so anyway, he's basically been manipulating her into accepting like this offer of studio space, because Mara is also an artist. So he manipulates her into accepting this offer for studio space, and he owns the studio space. So he has like cameras in there, and he's like watching her. But she knows that he is a creep, because she saw him. She got kidnapped, and she saw him at her kidnapping, So she knows that he's like a weirdo, and she knows he's a creep, and she knows that he's like trying to manipulate her, but she is like finessing him so that she can get like artistic connections and all this other stuff. And honestly, it's just a really interesting like push and pull dynamic between them. But Cole is definitely, he is so creepy. Like he is a weirdo for real. There's this one scene, I don't even want to describe it because I feel like you have to read it for yourself to really understand like how wild and crazy and grotesque it is. But he just does something that's just so foul, like such a violation, and it was like gag worthy, to be honest. Like
all y'all going to hell. What? You right there. Hell. You. Hell. You. Hell. Yeah, I said it.
Who are you to tell me where I'm going?
Who am I? No, my son, who are you? You are a sinner.
God, this book is really good. I'm really enjoying it. Hopefully I will be more articulate when I'm like maybe 75% in or whatever, but like I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the dynamics. I like the characters. I think they're interesting. I feel like their motivations are strong, and I like the writing much better. It's just giving. It's giving. It's creepy. I like it. But this book, it really feels like if Joe from You, like if Joe was rich and the girl he was stalking like knew he was a stalker. That's what it feels like, because Cole is just so like, he's exactly like Joe. He just happens to have like money and privilege and stuff. But like this book is so damn weird. Like the emotional whiplash is on a whole nother level. So there was this one scene where they're at like this art show together and things are going good, and they're kind of giving like this weird power couple energy, and she's like really into him. Like he's helping her do some stuff with her art, like sell her art to a broker or something, or like get a broker to sell her art. And so she's like super happy about it, and she's like wants to hook up with him, and then he completely fucks it up. He does some really dumb shit. And so she just grabs some random man, and she goes to her studio where she makes her art, and she knows that Cole has cameras set up in her studio. So she goes to her studio and she bangs this man so that Cole can watch and be jealous. And that shit was like, what a fucking power move. Like, what? It's so much going on. It's so much happening. I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know how to feel. I've reached a particular part, and like, I can't even tell if like they're about to have their first sex scene or if he's about to like murder her and dismember her body. Like I can't tell. Like what is happening? What is happening? Okay, so I finished There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark, and wow, what an experience. I really don't know like how to capture my feelings with this book, because this book is really all about obsession, and I found the themes of like obsession really interesting. I think that Cole, he was so crazy and so wild. He's just kind of like this privileged guy with a god complex, and he likes murdering people, and basically he becomes obsessed with the main character Mara. And I have found that I really like the theme of like romantic obsession, I guess, and that's why I really have been enjoying these darker romances, because it allows the characters to explore like these really intense and like toxic feelings, and I find that like really interesting. So I really enjoyed that aspect of this story, and I found Cole to be like super fucking creepy, and it was just very intimidating. I felt like from page to page I couldn't figure out like, were they headed somewhere romantic? Was he planning to brutally murder her? Like I literally couldn't figure it out, and I was really on the edge of my seat. So I really enjoyed it. Like I had a good time. I don't necessarily know if I want to rate it. I feel like I kind of want to move away from like star ratings, because I just feel like they're so limiting and they don't really fully express like how I feel about the book. So like, I feel that I enjoyed it. I had an interesting time with it. I was incredibly engaged, and it was kind of like the perfect escape almost, that I needed like a perfect distraction from school and stuff, because like I mentioned earlier in the video, it is like finals season for me, not necessarily finals week, but final season. And this morning when I woke up at like 8, and I had to write a 5-page paper that was due at like 3, so I ended up writing that. I got it done, and then I just got to sit and basically chill the rest of the day reading this book. And so like that was a cool experience for me. I'm not sure what happened, but my camera kind of cut off some of the outro, so I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoyed this experience. Thank you to TikTok for putting these books on my radar, because I had a good time. They were very interesting, very different from my usual, but still like a fun time. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video and experiencing these wild ass books with me. And thank you to Ana Luisa for sponsoring this. Be sure to check them out, the link in my description, if you're looking for some jewelry for yourself or a loved one this holiday season. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in my next one, hopefully. Bye you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, and a special thank you to all of my wonderful patrons.